Hello and welcome to Art Abandonment Adventures. This is video number 42 of the Spreading Awareness series. In this video, I will be creating art for the collection Gastroparesis Fight Series number 8, Gastroparesis Brave Warriors. This is video 1 of a 3-part Creation Day series. In this video, I will be showing how to create assemblage art pieces using different embellishments and beads on 5x7 canvases. Step number 1, designing the pieces. In this step, I will be taking the larger beads like the unicorns and mermaid tails, horses, different bears, and I'll be placing them around the canvas to come up with a particular pattern. I will also be deciding what the final colors of the piece will be. So as I'm choosing different pony beads and the larger beads, I'm setting up a color pattern also. And at last, I'll be deciding what I want the final piece to look like so that I can get an idea of what small item or small beads that I will be using for the finishing touches. The big advantage in doing a designing process is that you can really spend time interpreting what you think you want done so that you will have an idea of where you're going to glue the pieces, and that way you will not be wasting as much time or money because you won't be on the fly designing the pieces while using the glue and possibly having to move it. And if you are using a permanent glue, realize it's going to be much harder to pull off of a canvas. So if you think out through the whole process, you'll get there a little bit easier. I have had people in the past ask me where I find the unique beads and other embellishments that I use on my projects. There are a few places that I like looking: garage sales, thrift stores. With thrift stores, sometimes you can find broken necklaces. You can also sometimes find packages of whole beads. With everything that's going on right now, I didn't go find beads in those 2 locations. I already had quite a few of the embellishments already, but I did find a 5-pound bag, and it came in the full box by itself of nothing but beads. And so a lot of the beads did come from that, especially the different colored animals. It was really neat that that was something that was in this like $15 5-pound box of beads. When it comes to the other embellishments, a lot of times I'm getting them either from Facebook Marketplace, or people have given me things that I will reuse. But the other thing that I keep an eye on is whenever we're on an abandonment, can I go into a store or a gift shop and find something small that I can add to a future project? And a lot of times you'll see me with colored rocks, and that's something that I'll buy at one location and abandon in a different project. After you have designed the project, it is now time to glue down the larger beads and embellishments. When it comes to gluing the beads and other embellishments to the canvases, everyone has their own choice of glues and adhesives. For me, and this is not a sponsored video, I use E6000. It is a permanent glue, and I haven't had any trouble with the piece being abandoned that has been glued with E6000. I know personally for me that I have sent packages out of state and they have arrived with no damage, and all I used was E6000 glue. So what you're seeing here is that I am taking pieces off and then gluing them back into relatively the same place. You know, with beads you will have some movement, so you just kind of have to eye it, but the pattern's already been laid down. I like to go from the outside in, and that way you will get to your center point much easier. Just like when it comes to the beads, there's a lot of times people question me about where do I find all of my canvases and other items that I use for the finished pieces. I will again go into thrift stores, I will go into garage sales, throw in a few Dollar Trees, and if it's something specific that I want, I was thinking diamond painting, canvas, and beads. So for this particular abandonment, I really went hunting for those specific things at Amazon, but I did add things that I already had into the actual creation of the pieces. And with that being said, most of my pieces are going to be one of a kind finds, because I only had one of those items that I could upcycle. After gluing down the large beads and making the pattern that I want on the canvases, I will move on to step number 3, which is filling in blank spaces on the canvas. It was during this part of creating the pieces that the individual pieces took on a personality of their own. There are lots of ways that you can fill in the blank canvas. You can do dotting like I am, you can paint lines, you could even paint words. You can use smaller beads, there's foam beads and different glass beads, shells, rocks, just about anything that you can think of that is very small. You can just fill it in, and that way the picture comes to a completeness. This is a great opportunity to use items that were intended for a different project. So I do suffer from what most crafters suffer with, and that is art supply and craft hoarding. There, I've said it. One of the reasons I'm not afraid to admit this condition is that almost 90% of my work has something in it that I used in a different project. So I might need a particular type of flower, but later down the road I use that flower in a different abandonment. For this series I have purchased some rocks. I didn't use all the rocks for the other series, so I utilized them in this series. So I do have a little bit of a small hoarding problem when it comes to keeping small art projects. But you will see over time that you're actually keeping stuff out of landfills. Don't intentionally buy more than you need, but if you have a small amount left over, just keep it, because you never know how you can utilize it in the future. And there you have it. An artist justifying hoarding. I did want to point out that when you're gluing the smaller beads on, you can use a combination of the E6000, but if it's anything like foam that you're gluing on, you will have to use either a hot glue gun or a different kind of glue, because E6000 doesn't do well when it comes to styrofoam. Now, you can consider this a finished art project, or you can go to do step number 4, which is finishing and signing the pieces. It is not necessary to sign the pieces. There are reasons people don't sign. There's this, I'm leaving it out for the world, it's totally anonymous and I don't want to know. And then there's people like me that put a pseudonym on. I don't want you to know who I am, but if you post in the group, I love finding the stories that connect my pieces of art. And then there are other people that out and out sign their pieces of art, and their thing is, every piece of art I do, I sign. This is pieces of art. Even though I'm abandoning them, I want my name on them. Is there a right or wrong way to signing or not signing? No, it isn't. What's really awesome about this whole art abandonment project is that you have this group of over 45,000 people, and it's growing every day, who create art to abandon. None of our art is the same. Many of us are doing it for different reasons. Some are doing it more casually, 1 or 2 at a time, and some have actually gone professional coming out of art abandonment. So, like I said, there's no right or wrong in the signing of the pieces. That's a decision that you need to make, and you can always change it. So with that being said, it's time to share the pieces that are ready to be abandoned. I love hearing back from individuals who have found a piece of my art. If you have found a piece, you can send me the information about where you found it or any special story connected to it to the email address on the business card. You can leave a comment down below, or you can send a message to the Facebook Art Abandonment group. If you have liked what you've seen, push the like button, leave a comment, and follow. And remember to stand united until all are equal.